r/NoSleep. Posted by you/rydenanne. My girlfriend won't stop dying. I really don't know why I'm writing this. I've told multiple people in my life, and they just don't believe me. I guess I understand, and maybe you will too afterwards. The day my girlfriend Monica died, there were a billion things going through my head. The whole disaster happened so fast, and I really didn't catch what was happening at first. We were walking back to my car after seeing a movie, holding hands as we often did. The car was within my line of sight when I felt her jerk away from me, her hand leaving mine in an instant. I turned around to find that a man, small and shaking excitedly, had a knife at her throat. Before I could say anything, at that instant, I thought we were being robbed. He slit her throat without a word. I found out later that he wanted to feel what killing another human being felt like. I guess that's not important. Losing Monica broke me in half, in a sense. Part of me wanted to sulk and waste away, and another part of me wanted to do anything to punish myself. I should have held on to her tighter. I should have moved to grab her. I did anything I could to put myself through anguish and pain. Drugs. Drinking myself to near death. I was in and out of jail, and once even in prison, in the 8 months after her death. It was what I deserved. Even now, I still believe that in my heart. Most of the bars in town had banned me for one thing or another, so I had to find a new place to drink myself stupid. Of course, I could drink at home, but it wouldn't be punishment enough. People needed to see what a piece of shit I was. The bar I entered that night was a newer place, but it was warm. The lighting was homey, and I was surprised to find it made me feel good. I sat at the bar, ordering a water instead of something stronger. It felt wrong to feel that good, but it didn't make sense to sully something I'd been lucky enough to feel. Then, I smelled the familiar perfume. The scent put a stabbing pain in my stomach, something so absolutely awful that I doubled over. Of course, this wasn't the first time I had come across that same perfume since she died. It was popular. Something from Victoria's Secret. Still, this was different. There was something else to it that I knew all too well. That's when she sat down next to me. Monica. In the flesh. Hey, Benny, how have you been? I couldn't find words. She couldn't be there. I thought maybe I was having some sort of drunken hallucination, but the glass of water in my hand pulled me from that idea rather quickly. She looked confused, and I asked her how she was there. What do you mean, boss? Boss. She loved calling me boss. It was her being sarcastic, and I always hated it up until then, but in that moment it was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. She waited for a reply from me, but realizing she wasn't going to get a clear answer, she went on talking. I've been keeping an eye on you since we broke up. I know things were kind of rough, but I still care. I know you've been in and out of jail. What has gotten into you? Without thinking, the words "I just missed you so much" escaped from my lips, and she wrapped me up in her arms. Everything was fine then. I guess, after that night, I believed that I had imagined her death. Some massive, traumatic hallucination to cope with the fact that she had broken my heart. Or that I had broken her heart. I really don't know. We never actually discussed that much. I was just overjoyed that she was back, and we picked up where we left off as if nothing happened, or at least until a car accident took her again 3 months later. The sting was twice as bad. The funeral twice as hard. I thought over and over again. About the time before. About the mugging gone wrong. I guess my suspicion that it wasn't a delusion was confirmed when she showed up at my apartment, soaking wet from the rain, begging me to give our relationship another chance. This is how life has been ever since. In the past 10 years since that night at the theater, I have watched Monica die in various ways a total of 63 times. Accidents. Illness. Murder. She dies. She's gone. She's back. I don't really know how to explain it. I've brought it up to her several times, and she just brushes it off like I told her about a silly dream. Our friends are just the same, but I remember every single time. Holding her, watching the life leave her eyes. Funerals. Visiting her grave with friends. This all happened. It's all as fresh in my memory. No one understands. There's more to it now, and it's really what motivated me to come to NoSleep and speak up. The past year, it's been different. She's been killing herself. Every time. She'd never done this before. Like, I've seen some crazy shit happen that ended her life, but never suicide before. She comes back different now, too. She's sad. Like, really sad, and she just mopes around afterwards. You'll never find her anywhere besides our bed. I swear, with the way she avoids food, I'm afraid starvation is the next thing I'll lose her to. She's dying and coming back faster, too. Once every 2 weeks, and she's usually gone for maybe a week or two before I find her at the bar, crying into a glass of wine like she was never gone. I'm at a loss. Monica did it again a week ago, and I've been thinking about it a lot. A part of me feels like there's something connecting the obvious horrifying situation here, and the depression. Maybe some part of her is aware of what's happening and just wants it to stop. I think a piece of me wants it to stop, too. She's obviously in so much pain. I just want to see her happy again, or at least know she's at peace. A day or two after she died, I went to the same bar I somehow always found her at. I think she picks there, somehow, because it's deserted. She can cry without being judged until I come find her, or she drunkenly finds her way back to me. A man, unfamiliar to me, took the stool beside me and ordered a rum and coke. He glanced over at me, only for a second, likely to acknowledge my presence. I thought about moving to a booth when he spoke. You know, there's a way to end this. I begged his pardon. I know your situation. I've been in your shoes. They never do stop dying, not till you end the cycle yourself. He was now turned towards me, and I noticed how tired he looked. I saw that same tired look every time I looked in the mirror. He went on to talk to me for about an hour, about how his own brother just kept dying on him. For 20 years, he watched his little brother die until he did something that stayed fresh in his mind forever. He shot his brother down with his father's double-barrel shotgun. Then, he didn't come back. He never went to prison, either, because as far as anyone knew, it never happened. The world lay unchanged since his brother, like Monica, last killed himself. He stayed dead for good. The man tipped his hat to me before paying his tab and leaving. Since then, I've been waiting, and thinking. I'd like to say that I'm still undecided on whether or not to go through with it, but that's not true. I have a small pistol that my dad left me when cancer took him, and it's been at my side since then. I'm writing this out simply because I don't want to be the only one that knows all of this. I don't want this knowledge to die when she knocks on that door, like I know she will eventually, and I shoot her down. The cycle must end.